The real estate agent laughs. It is not a kind laugh. It is the kind of laugh that says you do not belong here, that says I know what you are, that says go back to wherever you came from, because this neighborhood, this house, this life is not for people like you. She stands in the doorway of the $12 million Mediterranean estate with her arms crossed, her designer blazer perfectly pressed, her platinum blonde hair catching the California sunlight, and she laughs at the black couple standing on the marble steps below her. I think there has been some mistake, she says, and the way she says it makes clear that she believes the only mistake is their presence. This property is by appointment only. Private showings, serious buyers only. The woman on the steps is 32 years old. She is wearing jeans and a simple white blouse, her natural hair pulled back in a practical style, her wedding ring modest and understated. She looks like someone who just came from running errands, which she did. She looks like someone who does not belong on the doorstep of a mansion in Pacific Palisades, which is exactly what the real estate agent is thinking. The man beside her is 34. He is wearing a Stanford hoodie that has seen better days and sneakers that are more comfortable than expensive. He has his hands in his pockets and his head slightly tilted, watching the real estate agent with an expression that is hard to read. "We have an appointment," the woman says. Her voice is calm, steady, the kind of steady that comes from having this conversation before, many times, in many forms. The real estate agent checks her phone with exaggerated slowness. I do not see anything on my calendar. She does not actually look at the calendar. She is looking at the couple, at their clothes, at their skin, at everything she thinks she needs to see to know who they are. Perhaps you have the wrong address. There are some lovely properties in Inglewood, more in your price range. The man speaks for the first time. His voice is quiet, almost gentle. We scheduled the showing 3 days ago, with your office, for 2 p.m. today, under the name Williams. The real estate agent's smile tightens. Williams. She says it like she is testing the name for worthiness and finding it lacking. I handle the Williams account. The Williams who inquired about this property are serious investors. She pauses, letting the implication land. You must understand, this home is listed at $12.3 million. That is not a typo. $12 million. We understand, the woman says. Do you? The real estate agent steps forward, lowering her voice as if sharing a confidence. Because between us, I would hate to waste your time, looking at properties you cannot afford, getting your hopes up. It is cruel, really, what some agents will do for a commission. They will show anyone anything, just to feel important. But I am not that kind of agent. I care about my clients, the real clients. The woman looks at her husband. He looks back. Something passes between them. A conversation in glances that has been perfected over 8 years of marriage. And then the woman reaches into her purse and pulls out a check. The check is certified. It is made out for the full asking price of the property. $12,300,000. It is signed at the bottom in neat, confident handwriting. The woman holds it out toward the real estate agent. Will this get us in the door? The real estate agent's face goes through several transformations in rapid succession. Confusion, disbelief, a desperate search for the catch, the trick, the explanation that will restore the world to its proper order. Her hand reaches for the check instinctively, then stops. Her mouth opens, closes, opens again. She looks at the check. She looks at the couple. She looks at the check again, and then her knees begin to buckle. But this is not where the story begins. To understand what happens next, to understand why this check exists and what it represents and how it will change everything, we need to go back 18 months earlier. A cramped apartment in Oakland, where two people are about to bet everything on a dream that the world keeps telling them is not theirs to have. The apartment is 700 square feet of hope and determination, squeezed between a laundromat that runs until midnight and a convenience store that has been robbed 3 times this year. The rent is $1,800 a month, which is considered reasonable for the Bay Area, which tells you everything you need to know about the Bay Area. The walls are thin enough to hear the neighbors arguing. The hot water is temperamental at best, and the parking spot came with a dent in the car as a welcome gift from the previous tenant. This is where Jasmine and Marcus Williams live. This is where they have lived for the past 4 years, saving every penny, working every angle, building something that no one else can see yet. Jasmine is a software engineer at a tech company that makes an app for scheduling dog walkers. She has a master's degree from MIT. She graduated top of her class. She has been passed over for promotion 3 times, watching white colleagues with less experience and fewer credentials move into positions she should have had. She does not complain. She documents everything. She keeps her head down and her code clean and her options open. Marcus is a financial analyst who works from home, which means he works from the kitchen table in their cramped apartment, surrounded by spreadsheets and dreams. He has an MBA from Stanford and a gift for seeing patterns that other people miss. He has pitched his ideas to 14 venture capital firms in the past 2 years. 13 of them did not return his calls. The 14th took a meeting, listened politely for 12 minutes, and then asked if he had considered a career in teaching. They met in college at a protest for affordable housing, which is the kind of irony that writes itself. They dated for 3 years, married for 8, and have spent every day of those 8 years building towards something that everyone except them thinks is impossible. Tonight, they are sitting at the kitchen table with a laptop open between them. The laptop is showing an email. The email is from a venture capital firm called Horizon Partners. The email says what none of the other emails have ever said. We would like to discuss a Series A investment in your company. Our partners have reviewed your proposal and believe there is significant potential. Please contact our office to schedule a meeting. Marcus reads the email for the 14th time. His hands are shaking. Jasmine reads it for the 15th time. Her eyes are wet. It is happening, she says. It is not happening yet, Marcus says, because he is the cautious one, the one who has been disappointed too many times to celebrate before the check clears. They want to discuss. That is not a yes. It is not a no either. Jasmine takes his hand. Her grip is fierce. They would not reach out if they were not serious. They would not waste their time. Marcus looks at the email. He looks at his wife. He looks at the cramped apartment they have called home for 4 years, at the water stains on the ceiling, and the view of the laundromat parking lot, and the pile of bills they have to juggle every month. And he allows himself, just for a moment, to hope. The company is called EquiHome. Marcus and Jasmine started it 3 years ago, nights and weekends, while working their full-time jobs and trying not to burn out entirely. It is a platform for property investment that uses AI to identify undervalued real estate, connects small investors with opportunities usually reserved for the wealthy, and builds generational wealth for people who have been systematically excluded from the property market. It is Marcus's baby and Jasmine's code. It is every vacation they did not take, and every luxury they denied themselves, and every moment of doubt they pushed through. It is their answer to every door that has been closed in their faces, every assumption made about their potential, every no dressed up as not right now. And now, finally, someone is saying yes. The meeting with Horizon Partners happens 2 weeks later in a glass-walled conference room overlooking San Francisco Bay. Marcus wears his best suit, the one Jasmine helped him pick out for their wedding. Jasmine wears a navy dress that makes her look exactly like what she is, a MIT-educated engineer who has built something remarkable and knows it. The partners at Horizon are skeptical at first. They ask hard questions about scalability, about market competition, about the gap between idealism and profitability. They poke holes in the business plan. They challenge every assumption. Marcus and Jasmine answer every question. They have been preparing for this moment for 3 years. They know every number, every projection, every potential objection. They know because they have heard the objections before, countless times, and they have never stopped refining their answers. The meeting is supposed to last an hour. It goes for 3. At the end of the 3rd hour, the senior partner, a white-haired woman named Catherine Chen, who built her fortune turning around failing companies, leans back in her chair and looks at them for a long moment. Most of the pitches I hear, she says, are from people who want to get rich. They have seen the tech founders on magazine covers, and they want that life. They do not care about the product. They care about the exit. She pauses. You two are different. You are not selling me a product. You are selling me a mission. And that is either very naive or very smart. Jasmine opens her mouth to respond, but Catherine holds up a hand. I have been doing this for 30 years. I have seen a lot of missions fail, but I have also seen a few succeed. The ones that succeed have 3 things: a product that works, a team that will not quit, and a market that is ready for disruption. She looks at the laptop where Marcus's presentation still glows. Your product works. I have had my analysts running your algorithm for 2 weeks. The returns are real. Your team is clearly not going to quit, or you would have given up years ago. And the market? She smiles slightly. The market has been ready for disruption since before you were born. Someone just needed to build the right tool. She stands up. We are prepared to offer a Series A investment of $15 million for a 20% stake in Equihome. The number lands in the room like a thunderclap. Marcus cannot speak. Jasmine cannot breathe. They look at each other, and in that look is every late night and early morning, every rejection and disappointment, every moment they almost gave up and chose not to. $15 million. They are going to change the world. The next 18 months pass in a blur of growth and chaos, and the particular madness of building a company that is actually working. Equihome launches nationally. The app downloads exceed projections by 300%. The media discovers them. First the tech blogs, then the business magazines, then the national news. A black couple from Oakland disrupting real estate, building generational wealth for underserved communities, making millionaires out of people who thought home ownership was a pipe dream. The story writes itself, and the world eats it up. Marcus and Jasmine become spokespeople for a movement they did not know they were starting. They are interviewed and profiled and invited to speak at conferences. They are called visionaries and pioneers, and by some, threats to the established order. They receive fan mail and hate mail in roughly equal measure. They receive investment offers and acquisition offers, and once an offer to buy them out entirely for $100 million. They turn down the buyout. They are not doing this to get rich. They are doing this to change the system. But the money comes anyway. Equihome's Series B round raises $40 million. The Series C, 6 months later, raises $75 million more. The company valuation climbs past $500 million, then $1 billion, then higher still. Marcus and Jasmine's personal stake, the 22% they retained after all the investment rounds, becomes worth more money than either of them ever imagined. They do not move out of the 700-square-foot apartment. Not at first. They are too busy to house hunt, too focused on the company, too used to the cramped kitchen and the temperamental hot water to notice they can afford something better. But then, Jasmine's mother gets sick. Dorothy Johnson is 67 years old and has lived in the same house in Compton for 43 years. The house she bought with her husband, James, before he died. The house where she raised Jasmine and her 2 brothers. The house that represents everything she has ever owned. The house is falling apart. The roof leaks. The foundation is cracking. The electrical system is afire waiting to happen. Dorothy will not leave. She has told Jasmine this many times, in the stubborn way that only mothers can be stubborn. This is my home. Your father and I built a life here. I am not leaving. Jasmine does not argue. She does not try to convince her mother to move into the cramped Oakland apartment or into one of the sleek modern condos that their company is now helping people afford. Instead, she does what she has always done. She finds a solution. The house in Pacific Palisades is not for Jasmine and Marcus. It is for Dorothy. It is 12,000 square feet of Mediterranean luxury, with a guest house, a pool, a view of the ocean, and enough room for Dorothy to have her own wing, her own space, her own life, while Jasmine and Marcus live nearby and can check on her every day. It is also a statement. Dorothy Johnson spent her whole life being told what she could not have, where she could not live, what was not for people like her. She cleaned houses in neighborhoods like Pacific Palisades for 30 years, scrubbing floors and washing windows for families who looked at her like furniture, like help, like nothing. Now her daughter is going to buy one of those houses with a check for the full asking price. And that brings us back to the doorstep. The real estate agent's name is Melissa Thornton. She is 44 years old and has been selling luxury properties in Pacific Palisades for 15 years. She has sold homes to actors and executives and tech billionaires. She has never, in her entire career, sold a home to a black couple. This is not an accident. Melissa has opinions about neighborhoods and property values and the kind of people who preserve both. She does not think of herself as racist. She thinks of herself as realistic. She is protecting her clients, the sellers, from buyers who might not fit in, who might lower the tone of the neighborhood, who might not appreciate what they are buying. She has developed techniques over the years, scheduling conflicts, misplaced paperwork, homes that are suddenly under contract or no longer available. She never says anything explicitly discriminatory. She does not have to. She simply makes it clear, through 1,000 small signals, that certain buyers are not welcome. She has never been caught. She has never been challenged. She has certainly never been confronted with a $12 million check from someone she just tried to turn away. The check is real. Melissa can see that now, holding it in her trembling hands, reading the numbers over and over, as if they might change if she looks hard enough. Certified check, $12,300,000. Made out to the seller of 1247 via Corona Pacific Palisades. I do not understand, she manages. Her voice sounds strange in her own ears, thin and uncertain. Where did you get this? Jasmine looks at her with an expression that is neither angry nor smug. It is something worse. It is patient. It is the patience of someone who has had to explain themselves countless times and is tired of it, but will do it one more time, because that is what it takes. We earned it, Jasmine says. My husband and I built a company. It is called EquiHome. You might have heard of it. Melissa has heard of it. Everyone in real estate has heard of it. The app that is changing how people invest in property. The platform that is democratizing home ownership. The company founded by a black couple from Oakland that is now worth more than some of the developments Melissa sells. She has heard of it. She just never connected it to the two people standing in front of her in jeans and hoodies. Oh, she says. Oh. We scheduled a showing 3 days ago, Marcus says. His voice is still quiet, still gentle, but there is something underneath it now. Something that makes Melissa want to step backward. Under our names. Marcus and Jasmine Williams. Your assistant confirmed the appointment. She said you would be here at 2 p.m. to show us the property. Melissa's mind races. Her assistant did mention an appointment. She assumed it was a different Williams, her regular Williams, the white couple from the investment firm who have been casually looking at properties for months. She did not check. She did not think she needed to check. She saw the black couple on the steps and assumed she knew everything she needed to know. There has been a misunderstanding, she says, but her voice is weaker now. I apologize for any confusion. If you would like to reschedule, I am sure we can find a time that works. We are here now, Jasmine says, and we have a check for the full asking price. So unless you have another buyer with $12 million in their pocket, I suggest you show us the house. Melissa stares at her. She thinks about her commission on a $12 million sale. 6% of $12 million is $720,000. Split with the buyer's agent, her take would be $360,000, more than she made all of last year. She thinks about her reputation, about what it would mean to refuse a cash buyer with full asking price, about the lawsuit that could follow, the complaints to the licensing board, the newspaper articles about the racist real estate agent who turned away the founders of EquiHome. She thinks about all the things she has believed about people like Jasmine and Marcus, and she watches those beliefs collide with the reality standing in front of her. Of course, she says finally. Please come in. Let me show you the property. She steps aside. Jasmine walks through the door first. Marcus follows, his hand finding the small of his wife's back in a gesture of quiet support. They step into the grand foyer of a house that costs more than most people will earn in 10 lifetimes, and they do it like they belong there. Because they do. The tour takes 45 minutes. Melissa walks them through 12,000 square feet of Mediterranean elegance, pointing out the custom millwork and the imported marble and the smart home features and the infinity pool overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Her voice has found its professional rhythm again, though it cracks occasionally when she meets Jasmine's eyes. Jasmine asks questions, Detailed questions about the HVAC system, the foundation, the property boundaries, the recent renovations. She has done her research. She knows more about this house than Melissa expected, more than most buyers who walk through the door. Marcus is quieter. He stands at the windows looking out at the ocean, or runs his hand along the solid oak banisters, or simply watches his wife navigate this space with the confidence she brings to everything she does. He is thinking about Dorothy, about the look on her face when she sees this place, about the conversation they will have when she protests that it is too much, too extravagant, too beyond anything she ever imagined. He is also thinking about the real estate agent, about the way she looked at them when they arrived, about all the real estate agents and bank managers and venture capitalists and hiring committees who have looked at them the same way. He is not angry. He passed through anger a long time ago and came out the other side into something more useful. He is determined. At the end of the tour, they stand in the great room with its 20-foot ceilings and its wall of windows facing the sea. Melissa is hovering nearby, her professional smile firmly in place, her eyes darting between the couple and the check that Jasmine still holds. "What do you think?" Jasmine asks Marcus. He looks at his wife. He looks at the room. He thinks about the journey that brought them here, from the cramped apartment in Oakland to the glass conference room at Horizon Partners to this moment, standing in a mansion they can afford to buy with cash. "I think your mother is going to cry," he says. Jasmine smiles. She turns to Melissa. "We will take it. The closing happens 3 weeks later. The sellers, a retired couple relocating to Florida, are delighted to have a cash buyer who can close quickly. They do not care what the buyers look like. They care about the $12 million that lands in their account." Melissa handles the paperwork with exaggerated professionalism. She does not apologize for the incident on the doorstep. She does not acknowledge it at all. She simply processes the transaction, collects her commission, and watches Jasmine Williams sign document after document with the confidence of someone who has signed documents worth billions. On the day of closing, as Jasmine and Marcus receive the keys to their new property, Melissa approaches them one final time. "Congratulations," she says. Her voice is formal, empty. "I hope you enjoy your new home." Jasmine looks at her for a long moment. She could say many things. She could point out the discrimination. She could threaten a lawsuit. She could make Melissa Thornton understand exactly what she did and exactly how much damage it could have caused if they had been anyone else. Instead, she says something Melissa does not expect. "I hope you learn something from this." Melissa blinks. "Learn what?" "That check was not just mine," Jasmine says. "It belongs to every person you have ever turned away. Every family you decided did not belong. Every couple you took one look at and dismissed. We earned that money, yes, but we earned it by building something for them. For all the people you made assumptions about. All the people you will never show houses to because you think you already know who they are." She steps closer. Her voice drops. "You cost yourself a $360,000 commission today. You almost lost it because you could not see past the color of our skin and the clothes we were wearing. That is your lesson. That is what this cost you. And it is nothing compared to what it costs the people you actually succeed in turning away." Melissa's face has gone pale. "We will not file a complaint," Jasmine continues. "Not because we are being generous, but because my mother raised me to believe that people can change, that lessons can be learned. that even people who have spent their whole lives believing the wrong things can wake up one day and choose different. She holds Melissa's gaze. Can you? The question hangs in the air between them. Melissa does not answer. She cannot answer. She is standing in the ruins of everything she thought she knew about the world and her place in it, and she does not have words for what she is feeling. Jasmine does not wait for an answer. She turns, takes Marcus's hand, and walks out of the closing office into the California sunshine. Behind them, Melissa Thornton stands frozen, the question still echoing in her ears. Can you change? It is a question that everyone must answer for themselves. Dorothy Johnson moves into the Pacific Palisades mansion on a Sunday morning in June. Her sons help with the boxes, which are far fewer than a house this size could hold. Dorothy does not own many things. She has never had room for many things. But when she walks through the front door, when she sees the ocean through the wall of windows, when she understands that this is really hers, that her daughter bought this house for her, that she will spend her remaining years in a place she could only have dreamed of cleaning once upon a time, she cries. She cries for 20 minutes. Jasmine holds her mother and cries with her. Marcus stands nearby with tears in his own eyes, thinking about his own parents, gone now, who never got to see what their son would become. He wishes they could see this. He wishes they could see Dorothy in this house, and Jasmine building an empire, and their grandchildren, who will grow up knowing they can be anything. But mostly, he is grateful. Grateful for the journey that brought them here. Grateful for the struggle that made them strong enough to survive it. Grateful for his wife, who turned every closed door into fuel for the fire she was building. When the crying is done, Dorothy walks through her new home room by room. She touches the marble countertops and the crystal chandeliers and the view she will wake up to every morning. She stands in the kitchen, bigger than her entire house in Compton, and she laughs. "Baby," she says to Jasmine, who is watching from the doorway. "How am I supposed to cook dinner in here? It will take me an hour just to walk to the refrigerator." Jasmine laughs. "We will figure it out, Mom." Dorothy grows serious. She takes her daughter's hands. "Your father would be so proud. You know that, right? He always said you were going to change the world. He said it when you were 5 years old and taking apart the toaster to see how it worked. He said it when you got into MIT. He said it every day until the day he died." She squeezes Jasmine's hands. He was right. Jasmine cannot speak. The tears are back. "He was right," Dorothy repeats. "And I am proud too. Not because of this house, not because of the money, because of who you are, because of what you are doing with it. You are making it possible for other people to have what you have. Other families, other mothers and daughters who never thought they could own a piece of this country." She pulls Jasmine into a hug. "That is your legacy, baby. That is what matters." They stand there for a long moment, mother and daughter, in a house that represents everything they have overcome. The Pacific Ocean glitters through the windows. The future stretches out before them, wide open and full of possibility. And somewhere, in an apartment in Oakland where a young couple is just starting out, a woman opens an app on her phone and begins to learn about investing in property. She has heard about Equihome. She has heard about the black couple who built it, who bought a mansion with a check, who proved that the American dream is not just for some people. She downloads the app. She creates an account. She starts to dream. This is how change happens. Not all at once, not in grand gestures, but in the quiet moments when someone decides to try, when someone sees someone else succeed and thinks, maybe I could too. Jasmine and Marcus did not build Equihome to buy a mansion. They built it because they knew what it felt like to be shut out, to be dismissed, to be told that certain things were not for people like them. They built it so others would not have to feel that way. The day after the closing, Melissa Thornton does something she has never done before. She takes a meeting with a young black couple looking for their first home. She shows them 3 properties in their price range. She answers their questions without condescension. She treats them like the clients they are. It is not redemption. It is not absolution. It is just a beginning. But that is how change works. One meeting at a time. One choice at a time. One person deciding to be different than they were yesterday. When Jasmine hears about it months later, from a friend who knows someone who worked with Melissa, she does not say anything. She just nods. It is not enough. It will never be enough. But it is something. And something, as she has learned, is how everything begins. Today, Jasmine Williams is the CEO of a company valued at $3 billion. Marcus is the chief financial officer, still seeing patterns others miss, still turning vision into reality. Dorothy lives in her mansion by the sea, hosting family dinners that require a small army to cook and clean up, surrounded by grandchildren who think it is perfectly normal for their grandmother to have an ocean view. And somewhere, in cities and towns across America, people are opening an app and taking the first step toward building wealth that will last for generations. They are investing in property, in their futures, in the belief that the American dream is not just a slogan. They are proving every day that the doors that were closed to their parents and grandparents do not have to be closed to them. That is the story. That is what the check represents. Not just $12 million, not just a mansion in Pacific Palisades, but a whole new way of thinking about who belongs and who decides. The real estate agent refused to show the house to the black couple because she thought she knew who they were. She was wrong, and in being wrong, she became part of a story that is still being written, a story about assumption and reality, about prejudice and potential, about the doors that need to be opened and the people who are opening them. Have you ever been judged by how you look? Have you ever walked into a room and felt the assessment, the categorization, the instant decision about who you are and what you deserve? Have you ever been told, in words or in silences, that you do not belong? Most of us have. The world is full of Melissa Thorntons, people who think they know everything about you from a single glance, people who guard the gates of opportunity and decide who gets through based on criteria that have nothing to do with merit or potential or the content of character. The question is what you do with that experience. Some people internalize it. They begin to believe the judgments. They shrink themselves to fit the small boxes others build for them. Others fight back. They let the rage drive them, burn them, consume them, until there is nothing left but anger. But there is a third way. Jasmine and Marcus chose to build. They took every no and turned it into fuel. They took every closed door and used it to design a better system. They did not seek revenge on the people who dismissed them. They sought results. And now, because of what they built, thousands of families are finding their way to home ownership. Thousands of people who were told the property market was not for them are discovering that it can be. Thousands of Dorothys who spent their lives cleaning other people's houses are imagining owning houses of their own. That is the real victory. Not the mansion, not the check, not the look on Melissa Thornton's face when she realized how wrong she had been. The real victory is the system changing. The real victory is the doors opening. The real victory is the future being different from the past. What doors are you guarding? What assumptions are you making? Who are you turning away because you think you already know their story? The check is still out there. It is being written right now by someone you have probably dismissed, someone you have probably judged, someone whose potential you cannot see because you are not looking hard enough. Pay attention. The people you underestimate today might just change the world tomorrow.